live from our studios in Brooklyn, New York. It's the Cool Jews Show, bringing you the cool Jews of the world. Brought to you by the best Jewish site for entertainment and news, www.thecooljeww.com. I'm your host, Yosef Shidler, aka One Master. Tonight is the 3rd of Adar, Bays 5768, and March 9th, 2008. Today's show is sponsored in memory of the 8 holy students who were martyred last week in Jerusalem. Today's special guest is Shma from Tashma, who will be speaking about the Tashma band and his experience as a Baal Tshuva. And now we present to you the Cool Jew Show. Tashma, you may have seen it in stores. The album debuted a little over 2 years ago, and it combines prayer into rap. Now we have with us on the line one of the 2 members of this band, Tashma. We have with us on the line Shma or Aaron Silverman. Aaron or Shma, welcome onto the show.
How you doing?
How are you doing today?
Hashem, doing good.
Okay, so we now have you on the show with us, and we want to hear about Tashma, a little bit about how it got started, and the whole story behind this. So maybe you can, start out by telling us the story, or what Tashma is.
Sure. So Tashma comes from the Gemara. It's a phrase that introduces a new concept, and it in English means "come listen" or "come here." H-E-A-R.
So means come here. So how did this whole idea? If you listen to your music, and we're gonna put it on a little bit later, if we listen to your music, you hear a very interesting sound where you hear, if you're familiar with the words of the Jewish prayer book and the liturgy behind it, your words really come straight from the prayer book. So how did this whole idea form? How did you get into creating this? How did this all start?
Right, so about 2004, Purim, which is coming close to exactly 4 years, I had been into hip-hop and music in general for many years already, by 2004, and I started to get into the production aspect of it. I bought a 4-track recorder while I was an employee in ShopRite in Downbrook, New Jersey, and I started to make an a cappella album because I had become religious, and I was aware that during Sfir Sa'omer, which is a long time, about 7 weeks, there's a custom in Chabad community not to listen to any instrumental music. So I wanted to make an a cappella album for the students in yeshivas to be able to listen to during this time. I wrote lyrics, I sang, and I beatboxed, and I put it all together on a 5 or 6 song album. And it was all my voice, and I produced this album. I distributed it in Mars 10 Yeshiva, and also somewhat outside. Brooklyn had it, but it was very small scale. But it got enough acclaim to get the attention of Daniel Seliger, who owned a company called 12 Track Sound, who actually did Matisyahu's first album, Arise, Shake Off the Dust. It also opened the eyes of my partner, Menachem David Shapiro. He had written he was in yeshiva at the time in Morristown, and when it was released, people were listening to it, and they knew about me beatboxing, and Menachem asked me to beatbox for a song he had rhymed, he had rapped, he had written about the rabbis in Morristown Yeshiva, which is called a Purim spiel. If people aren't aware, on Purim people make comedy skits, and he had written a comedy skit about the rabbis. So he needed somebody to beatbox, and he came to me and asked me if I would do it, and so I said sure. So at the end of the skit, there was a doctor who was in the audience whose daughter was getting married in the future, and he came to us and asked if we would perform at his daughter's wedding. Dr. Steve Weiss, very good guy. So we agreed, and we were only going to perform for like 5-10 minutes, so we needed 3 songs, basically.
When he's asking you to perform, you're already, putting together songs of rap, or what kind of songs were you doing then?
Well, besides my a cappella album, which was released, it was basically rap songs. We had nothing. We had nothing, but we had ideas for a song about the Shemona Esrei. We wanted to write a song about the Shemona Esrei. Or actually, maybe I did. I don't know what Menachem had planned, but because I started writing about the Shemona Esrei, Menachem had started to translate the prayer called Aleinu, which is a prayer developed by Yeshua. After Moshe Rabbeinu, there was Yeshua, and he instituted a prayer of Aleinu.
That was instituted when he conquered the walls of Jericho.
Right, the one who conquered the walls of Jericho, that was Yeshua. So Menachem wrote a rap about Aleinu, and I had basically finished Shemona Esrei, and then we talked to each other and said, hey, why don't we do a mincha? Because mincha, the afternoon prayer, consists primarily of the Shemona Esrei, the 18 blessing prayer, actually 19 blessing prayer, and the Aleinu. So we put together this song that we called Jacob's Ladder, which is the analogy in the Chumash where Jacob goes to sleep and sees on his, I think, departure from the land of Israel, he sees, or maybe the entry, he sees a ladder with angels ascending and descending, and it's an analogy for prayer because during prayer we climb spiritual levels. So we put together this song, we called it Jacob's Ladder, and we performed it for Dr. T. Weiss's daughter's wedding. So in the midst of this, Daniel Seliger, I mentioned, owned a company called 12 Sharp Sound, had done Matisyahu's first album. He was looking for new talent. His cousin was in yeshiva, and he sent my a cappella CD to Daniel, and that's how Daniel found out about me. And Menachem and I went down to the studio, and we started recording every Moti Shabbos at the studio underneath the Brooklyn Bridge on J Street. That's Alon Cohen, where Alon Cohen lives. He's a partner of Daniel. So we recorded for probably 5 or 6 months, and we finished the album. And then Daniel, who is a very business-savvy person, he has a lot of experience in the music world, he pitched our CD to JMG, Jewish Music Group. And they're a major label within the, I guess, Jewish
industry.
The bridge world. Yeah, they have artists that are not just religious, not just Jewish, but their main desire is to make religious Jewish albums. So Daniel pitched our album to them, and they decided to sign us.
Let me go ahead and put on this song here, Jacob's Ladder, and then we'll come back and you'll tell us more.
That's number 7.
Number 7. So we're going to put on track number 7 on the album, and then we'll come back onto the show.
Sure.
Okay, I'm putting it on.
My Lord, open my lips, my mouth shall declare your praise. Open my lips. Bless Hashem, say it again in different words. I got a Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. Melech, Hosea, Mashiach, my king. 3 times a day we all repeat his holy name. Filling the ropes with godly wisdom. Mortal man cannot boast about what is in the fine lines between us and the ones in prison. So we thank, praise, and raise to the name is risen. Heal and help, and we will be healed. Straight when I fell, but now that I'm ill, pray like Daniel. Inside me I feel you answer the call and perform miracles. Hashem, step aside, deep talk, shofar, our freedom will come. Gather from the corners, our exiled brethren, bring us together. Disperse as we are through the plain of Unseen and over the mar. All our treasures restore as in former times. Our counsels of yore, no more will we sigh. You alone are our Lord, compassion and kind. Love the truth and the just and the good and the right. We paid our souls, our dues in full. Build the base on Mikdash out of solid gold. Peace on souls, those hungry people. Chaim and shalom, enough of evil. My God, guard my tongue. Please keep me very far from speaking evil and deceitful about people. Share my lips must like quit for gossip. Even if someone wishes me violence, allow my soul to sit in silence. Let my soul be to all very meek, like dust upon weary feet. Open my heart so I look to you, and your commandments I will quickly pursue. To all those who plot and scheme on me, please hurry to stop their dreams from me. Let my enemies be as strong the wind. Let the angel of the Lord make them fall on a whim. For the sake that your beloved will be saved, rescue me, answer me, oh I pray. Hashem Sivasai Tifzach Upi Akiti Lasecha. It is our obligation, me and this entire congregation, to speak the exaltation of the master of all of creation, that he has not made us like the other nations, nor made us like the families of other habitations, nor assigned us a portion like the valuation, nor a lot like that of other populations. But they bow to fabrication and exasperation, but we bend the knee in prostration and exclamation to the one beyond exclamation, who made the heavens and gives the earth foundation, who sits in sublimation, whose majesty is beyond imagination. He is our God, there's no other manifestation. Truly he is our King without duplication, as it says in the book of our education. Take him to your heart and deep contemplation. Abaya is Elohim, and in relation, everything else is negation. This is a ladle Lishabeyat, the translation.
And welcome back. That you were just listening to Jacob's Ladder by Tashma. And so you've put together these songs, these lyrics, this music that you've put into a CD called Tashma. And once you had it with Jewish Music Group, I mean, did you initially see yourself going this far? I mean, where did you see yourself heading with this?
It's interesting. Even though I like to intellectualize and argue and understand things on a seichel basis, like an intellectual way, the entire venture was based on emuna. I was just completely faithful that it was going to work out, and I had very little resources at my disposal, and things just kind of opened up. And I actually expected it to be very, very big, but I had no plan. I really didn't have a plan, and the people who made it big, it's to their credit. It really is to their credit. It's to Daniel's credit and to Alon to make such good music, and to J&G to have the resources which to put the album into secular stores like Best Buy and have it online on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I expected it to go far, but kind of in a super rational way. I really didn't have the skills yet to be able to make this album big.
Mm-hmm. I mean, were you doing rapping through, throughout your life? Let me actually backtrack here. You are a Baal Tshuva, a returning to Judaism. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your childhood and how you were brought up, and how maybe you got into Morristown. Morristown, as we had on the show previously, I don't know if you know Nussin Zam.
Nussin Zam?
Yeah, he was on our show previously. You know him?
I remember the name. I think I might know him.
He was in Morristown for a while, and he's also kind of doing similar to what you're doing, a little bit of rap.
Yeah.
So he was in Morristown for a little while. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your childhood and how you were brought up and how you got into Yiddishkeit and how you
Sure.
came to yeshiva and all that.
Sure. So, I used to live in Chatham, New Jersey. That's where I was born. When I was 6, I moved to Morristown, and I grew up not religious through the entire public school systems. When I was 17, I remember for years already, I would drive on the bus and see the Hasidic students and men and women also on Shabbos. They'd be walking on the road, and I didn't have any relation to them. I didn't know what Hasidus was all about, what Chabad was all about. The only connection I really had to Judaism was two things. One, I went to Hebrew day school for a couple years when I was smaller, and I learned how to pronounce the first couple letters of the alphabet. And also, that was about it. My uncle was modern Orthodox, and I went to his house for Passover a couple times. Nothing major. When I was 17, I was a senior in high school, and I was working at a supermarket in Morristown called King's, and there was a woman who needed help to her car with her bags, and I was off duty at the time, and so I helped her out to her car, and we got into a conversation about free choice versus divine providence, because I asked her about it, and I saw that she was religious because she was wearing a head covering. So she immediately, as a Chabadnik, you hit on these things really quick. If somebody asks you about divine providence and free will, you're in this type of conversation. So we talked in the parking lot for probably 15 minutes until I got in trouble that I was out there for so long. And in the meantime, she invited me to her house for Shabbos. And a couple weeks later, I went. So I started to learn about what Chabad has to say about certain philosophical questions like this one that I had, and it intrigued me that even though I didn't understand completely what Chabad was talking about, they said that they have an answer, and that there is free choice, and there is divine providence all at the same time. And that really surprised me, because most people try to make excuses for one or the other, but to say that yes, both of them exist, and there's an answer for this, and we just can't understand this so easily. So that was something to me.
Who was this family that
the family was the Pauls, Paul, were the family that invited me to enjoy Shabbos the first couple times. After I became in touch with the Chabad Yeshiva, so then I became friendly with more people that were there. And
how did you get?
I never went to Morristown Yeshiva. That year I had already enrolled in college, and I went to Reading, Pennsylvania for a year before going to Hadar Torah. The next year I went to Brooklyn, and I was in Yeshiva for a couple of years.
Oh, so you were in Yeshiva and Hadar Torah then?
Yes, I went to Hadar Torah, and on my breaks I would always go to Morristown, but basically my official enrollment was in Hadar Torah, not Morristown.
So you were with Rabbi Goldberg and Rabbi...
Yeah.
Were you there at the same... We just had on the show last week Rabbi Ort. Were you there at the same time as Rabbi Ort, or... Yisrael Moshe Ort?
Oh, Yisrael Moshe, yeah, I think, was it the first yeshivacation? I think the first summer that I was in the Catskills with Hadar Torah, I met Yisrael Moshe.
So
might have been the first summer, definitely the second summer, but yeah, I'm familiar with him.
So he was on our show last week, and he was just talking about his story as well, Tshuva.
Yeah.
So you were in Hadar Torah for then how long?
From 97 until 99.
So you were there for approximately 2-3 years, and then when you left, how then you moved back to Morristown, or how did that work?
Yeah, right after Yeshiva, I went back to Morristown, and I started to attend Morris County College. I was taking music for a semester with business and psychology. I really didn't know what I wanted to do yet. My mom basically was paying my entire tuition in Yeshiva, and she was insistent for me to get back into supporting myself. So I started to work part-time at a supermarket again, and I was enrolled in County College of Morris part-time. That happened for a couple of years, and then I met my wife. I moved to Crown Heights in 2000, and 2005. But before that, like I said, I'd already met Menachem and we started to record the music.
So the album was recorded when, 2005 or?
Yeah, the album was basically finished in 2005. We started, I don't remember the precise month, but we started probably in 2004 and we finished in 2005.
Now, on your album you have even Matisyahu. I mean, how influential was Matisyahu in your music and in this whole recording process?
Well, because Daniel knew Matisyahu pretty well, he was able to, Matisyahu was able to, dedicate some of his time to be on our album. But it was a very thin relationship. There was very little contact I had with him personally. When I was in Morristown and had recorded the a cappella album, people had told me about Matisyahu, who had started to perform as a religious Jew for a while. And then I met him in an art tour when I came to visit, just stump visit for a day in Crown Heights. But we never did anything together until the album was basically complete, and we gave Matisyahu some tracks and said, "What would you like to perform on?" And Rahmana, the number 2 track, he was into the most, and he decided to hop on it.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you really didn't have any, strong relationship or anything. Did he, what was his attitude towards your music, and how did he feel about it?
He liked it. I mean, he was supportive. It wasn't, like, oh, let me team up with you and do something together. It was more just like he wanted to support us doing our own thing, and especially his indebtedness to Daniel and Elon for making him his first album quite a success, and his contract to J-Dub, and which eventually blossomed to Sony. I'm sure he was appreciative of Daniel, and when Daniel asked him to hop on a track and he liked the music, he decided to pick Rahmana up.
Mm-hmm. So he is on Rahmana. Maybe we'll go ahead and put that on for our listeners to hear. And if you listen in the middle, or I guess towards around the middle.
He's the second track.
The second track pops in around the middle. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's in the middle verse. I'm the first verse. He's the middle, and Menachem is the third.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put that on. Here is Rahmana by Tashma.
Our true nature, we are approaching you in prayer. We beg, please do not forsake us. Act according to your greatness. See us from your throne of mercy. Guard me from those prone to hurt me. You who is the voice of weeping, store all our tears in safe keeping. Redeem your Jews from affliction. Lead us to fulfill your mission. Hear the sound of supplication. Our lips fall with lamentation. Oh dear God of our salvation, deliver us, we're your nation. You know you do what you wanna. Please show compassion, Rahmana. Complete first with the blur, gave me ears to hear, eyes to see, wisdom to discern, and a reason to be, secret to learn, heart to fear. Before my feet hit the ground, watching purity like 1, 2, 3, change my TT, yeah, that's the journey of love drops, they got live, taking one for the team. Wrapped into filling, trying to pull out like you a hole in that ceiling. But the cement just think they need a drilling. Ice pick, break the lock, shake, rock and shuffle. Try to suckle all the honey from the rock. Words of prayer come together like a puzzle. Huddle under the shore. Who's that black cat? I'm afraid to wear cat spray.
Ashamed of over your floor, act for the sake of your name, which is called upon us when your acquisition. Heart can take action, don't sit back and listen. Act not because we merit it, but because we're your heritage. Got on this earth, from the corners of earth. You know secret thoughts hidden deep in people's hearts. I'm terrified, teary-eyed, very beside. We walk a dangerous road. We've been estranged from our soul. Please accept our repentance because your anger is slow. We know not what we do, but our eyes are stuck for you. Happy is the man who trusts in you. Let angels intercede and increase our pleas. May I cry against the sky and ascend on high. We knock at the door like paupers and beggars. Do not turn us away. Oh, you who is prayer.
You've been listening to Rahmana by Tashma here on Cool Juice Show, and we're back again with Huna or Aaron. So that was the album Tashma you've put out, and that track had Matisyahu on it. Now, what are you doing now with yourself? How is Tashma developing? Are you working on a new album? How are things developing out in that regard?
So things right after we signed the contract started happening very quickly. I had just gotten married. Menachem got married a couple of weeks after me. Then I had a boy, and he had a little girl, and I just had a second girl, Baruch Hashem, a month ago. So our hands have been very, very full, and we kind of had to part and go on our own ways because we weren't touring enough. We weren't making enough money to support our families. So Menachem is currently studying in law school that he got a full ride to. He's studying in LA. And right now I'm still in school. I'm getting a BA this summer in psychology, sociology, and I want to go to graduate school next year. And I'm still making music, but it's very slow now because of my family obligations, and I have a full-time job. I work as a mental health counselor in Williamsburg, in Brooklyn, and basically I conduct group therapy sessions all day long with mentally ill adults. And I want to be a therapist. I want to have a counseling center or a license at least to practice myself. And I would like to continue to make music. What I'm doing right now is working with a guy, his name is Erez, Erez lives in Crown Heights, and he has people under him like Y Love, who's also a guest on our album. Scott Jordan, who's a black rapper, who's a chassid. He's amazing. So Erez is the manager of him, and he has other projects he's working on, and one of them is myself. We're trying to produce another album, which would be my third or second official one. And we practice about once a week or once every other week, whenever we can get together. And we've had one performance so far in Chabad of Williamsburg. And I'm still writing. I write about a song a week probably, and with the help of our keyboardist, we make that into a full-blown song. And I'm just waiting for me to get my license and be able to support myself more thoroughly, so I can work towards the music goal.
So the songs you're working on now, I mean, are they following the same pattern as before? Are they more from the Shidler, or are they more, freestyle, or how are the songs?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like a mix. There's definitely less revealed Judaism in the songs I'm writing now. It's more just like feel good. There's one song on my Tashma album that I think is perfect for my new album. That would be Shine. Number three is Shine. It just talks about the feel good of living, and there is some mix of Jewish themes and Jewish words in the more recent stuff, but it's not as religiously Jewish. It's more just my desire to uplift spirits. Make people have joy. Make people have a pleasure in doing good deeds, in being sincere and being honest.
Let me ask you like this: when Matisyahu released his second album, Youth, in 2006, I think it was the same year you released your album. There was some, speculation that, his music then was, more secular than the first album, whereas the first album was more Jewish concept. The second album really moved away from that, and there was a lot of people who were rather disappointed with that. I mean, do you see that happening maybe with your second album, or where do you intend to head with your second album?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% a Chabad Lubavitcher, and I'm never going to be anything else. My whole self-image is wrapped up in being a follower of the Lubavitcher Rebbe and being a leader in our community. I want to stay that way. At the same time, there's just so much music. When I was growing up, something I left out is my family would take road trips, and we would sing just very nice, simple songs on the road trip, like from Sound of Music. We would sing over and over again. And there's so much music inside of me that I just have to get it out. And I'm not worried about the album disappointing people. I think that if anything, even on the religious side of my contacts, there are people who are disappointed with the first album being rappish. So, if I'm worried about people not liking the album, no, I'm not worried about that. The songs that I make now have less revealed Jewish lyrics, but they're really nice songs, and they're not provocative, they're not violent, they're not obscene in any way. And if people are going to like the album. It's really catchy stuff. People are going to like it. Are they going to like that it's not as Jewishly oriented? Maybe, but they'll still like it.
When you say not as Jewishly oriented, like I mentioned, we had Nassim Zan on the show previously, and he was telling us about some of his lyrics being, that they're all, Jewish, but some of it is more just hidden in the message, and it's just, not as revealed in the actual music. Are you just making it like that it's more concealed, that it's more of a hidden message, or are you just, more freelancing in your writing?
Right, that's a good question. So, like I said, what I am is a Chabad Nick. I'm a Chabad Lubavitcher Jew. So, whatever I come out with, God willing, that's going to be the message. And it's only a question of, well, how deep do you go? So the midos, the emotions which I talked about the new music having, like being honest and being truthful, being sincere, being respectful, that comes across in the music, and that's Jewish. You know, somebody doesn't have to talk about Hanukkah and putting on tefillin to be Jewish. You talk about having good midos, to be respectful to your neighbor. Okay, these are things that are more universal, but they're primarily Jewish. They were first Jewish, and then they became universal. So maybe in reverse. But that's what I'm still proposing in my music. It's definitely to be a solid human being, to be a member of the society that is improving the world. And that's what the Lubavitcher Rebbe told us to do. The Lubavitcher Rebbe told us to take our Dalet Amos, our little niche, and make it better. You know, so if you want to do that by talking about Jewish things that you enjoy doing in life, that's great. And if you enjoy talking about just hard or more universal topics of being sincere and being truthful, being real, you know, there's a ton of reality nowadays, especially like, you know, reality shows. It's so entertaining. So take the reality and focus on the positive. There's too much violence, way too much violence in the media. Too much, you know, scandal, and people are going to eventually just get sick of that, and they're going to throw it up. And this album will be there for people to enjoy and have an alternative.
What do you say about your audience? Who do you say your audience is? Are you, you know, trying to head more for just a secular community who's looking for a more, I guess, per se, kosher music? And are you also targeting a religious crowd? Who do you intend to be listening to your music?
So, ultimately, I want everyone to be able to listen to this music. I want Mashiach to come and for people to do kosher things. And listening to music is definitely a wonderful thing. And you have to listen to non-violent, non-scandalous music. So, you know, I want everyone to be able to listen to it eventually. But short term, the first album, Tashma, Come Listen, that is more towards the religious Jew, the modern Orthodox Jew. And also the Noachide. There's a small community of Noachide, of Gentiles who are into very, very Jewish things. So that's something for them to listen to also. I have gotten some comments from just non-Jewish people who listen to this music and are like, yeah, that jam is mine. You know, there's a certain track where they really rock to. But in general, it's not mainstream hip-hop. That's the first album. The second album, I think, can be more mainstream. The second album that's in the process of being recorded, that's more mainstream. That's more people who just, you know, they don't have to be into Jewish concepts to like the music. And because of that, simply that fact broadens the audience. You know, because there's only so many Jews and so many religious Jews within America, but the non-Jewish market is huge. And so I think that those people can listen to this second album as well.
Do you intend to be performing in secular places, or do you only intend to?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, when the time comes, I want to do as much as God will let me do, like with Madison Square Garden or, you know, huge coliseums, because the music I write, like I said, it's so positive and it's really, really catchy. So those two things, you know, I want to spread this message to as many people as I can, and I don't plan on limiting myself to just Jewish venues.
Do you see it as at all a contradiction? I know some people have, you know, really had a hard time that Matisyahu, who calls himself a Chabad Chassid, comes across that he, you know, goes into secular places, and, you know, how do you feel with that?
You know what? I don't have enough experience yet to really know what's going to happen, how it's going to play itself out. But as I stand now, I don't see it as a contradiction, but I have hope that if there is any halachic problem, any Jewish law problem with performing, that I would want to make separate seating. I would want to make concerts that have boys on one side and girls on the other. If that's what needs to be. Whatever needs to be according to Jewish law, that's what I want to do. So if that's one of the issues that people had, which I'm sure it was, with Matisyahu being able to see people dancing at the same time he's performing, that mixed dance thing, which is a problem for Jewish boys and Jewish girls. So I definitely would take care of that. I would not play in a venue that a Rav would prohibit me from doing. At the same time, the people who have a problem with Matisyahu might just have, a problem because of their particular Rav. If their particular Rav says don't do something, and Matisyahu talked to a Rav and he got permission to do it, so that's something that they have to just use Av Yisrael for. They got to butt out of it. They have to support another Jew doing his own thing. And I know that's hard. I know that's really hard for people just to be happy with what they're doing and not pay attention to other people's actions. I know that's hard, but that's what we got to do.
This has actually been a very controversial topic over the past couple of weeks with the Lipa Schmelzer concert in Madison Square Garden. He's been
I know. I don't know the whole deal. I don't know the whole deal why they prohibited the concert. I don't know. I mean, if you have seating, especially, there should be very little problem with performing. But maybe that's not what they had. I don't know.
There are, different opinions coming out from different rabbis about, why it was banned or if it should have been banned. Or needless to say, though, that it was canceled, and like you said, each person has their own opinion, each person has their own outlook, and their own rabbi that they have to follow. And so you have your rabbis, and you have your album that you're working on now. Is Menachem Shapiro working on this album at all with you?
No, Menachem hasn't contributed to this one. I've had other people throw in a line or two, but I haven't passed anything to Menachem to ask him to input yet. I like though. He's a really talented writer. He's a talented lyricist. So I might, show him a couple of songs and ask him to put his 2 cents. But no, he hasn't. He hasn't done anything with it yet.
Mm-hmm. So, when do you expect this album to be out in stores?
As soon as I have the budget to record it. I really don't know. I've recorded so far 2 songs satisfactorily, and there's at least 10 more. So it's not cheap, and I'm working full time, like I mentioned, and we have 2 children now, Baruch Hashem. So it's slow in the process, but when it's out, I'll definitely let you know.
Mm-hmm. So, with that all said, are you still doing performances for, different centers for Tashma, or?
Yeah, I mean, once in a while we've had a gig with Tashma, but it's really hard now that Menachem is out in California. It's got to be enough money on the ticket to fly out, either him to New York or me to L.A., and we haven't gotten anything like that yet.
So if somebody did want to contact you, how would they do so?
If they wanted to contact us, you can use my email at chuna@hotmail.com. And Chuna is spelled CHUNAH, 6 letters.
At hotmail.com. So that's
at hotmail.com.
They will contact you. Well, Aaron or Chuna, it's been a pleasure having you on the show with us today.
Thanks a lot, yeah.
Just wondering, we're going to put on one last song. What would you say is the last song that we should put on here?
1 second. How about Shine, number 3.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and play Shine by Tashma. Aaron, thank you for being on the show with us.
Okay, thanks a lot. And check out the video for Shine. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Just punch in Tashma.
We actually have that already on our site as well. So.
Oh, right. Great.
So. Okay, Aaron, thank you very much for being on the show. Here's Shine by Tashma.
I stand. You are my life, my length of days. You are the rhythm in my veins. My heart pulses to your name. I rise from sleep and speak your praise. Before I ask, you fill requests. Before I speak, you are my breath. I talk about you all the time. You make me sing and dance and rhyme. You call me yours, I call you mine. You are my soul.
was sweet and lips graceful, I will still be unable to praise you. I'm grateful, I promise to be loyal and faithful. I'll represent you, I won't disgrace you. Thank you for taking me in your wings, you make me sing. Besides you, I have no kin. You are my rock, my refuge, I got to bless you. I love you, there's none above you. I raise my hand in holiness and blow a kiss. I don't know what I owe this gift, I'm rose to live. You made the heavens and earth for a man, but pebbles and dirt. The way I feel, I can't express any words. On my mind all the time, you're the one, I'm the moon, you're the sun. Where my shine comes from.
I bless the Lord with all my soul. He wears majesty as his robe. To the heavens recount his glory. He makes sunshine, it's just for me. Sends rain from clouds for every tree. Each leaf tells his story. Just look around, it's plain to see. All of God's works are amazing. And give us luck that one I'll never leave. Like leaves on evergreens, we'll stay attached and never like to take it back to the roots of our tree. Our tourist personality gives room for everyone to breathe a peace experience. Inspiring my religiosity is something that I always want to be in close proximity with you. Make we so when my friend you see truly believe in a deity, a spontaneity. You make the perfectly a meal so perfectly. And see the God that creates divinity to show from hair on head to toes to glow but free. Just please, I need your tea, so please release the speech and cause these words to flow and rhyme. To exit upon in time, oh, this is just one of the many signs provided by divine decisions, bringing some vision that you give to giving from my shine. Shine.